What's going on, everyone? Please let me know if you can hear me. Guys, you won't believe what just happened. I mean, you guys won't believe what just happened right now. Please let me know if you can hear me. What's going on, everyone? How are you doing today? Of a strong support, guys. What is it going to be? Are we going to keep hold? First quarter of 2021, I am expecting 3.5 million US dollars in total revenue and expenses of about 12 million US dollars. As you can see, from 2020 the expenses was 10 million US dollars, and 2020 first quarter of 2020 was 1.1 million US dollars in total revenue. So these are my numbers right here, and the earning per share according to analyst consensus, they are expecting Bionano Genomics to report minus 0.05. Cześć Tomek. Tomek, yeah, Tomek. Co tam, Tomek? Cześć. Miło mi, Tomek, miło mi. So, yeah, Devin, somebody told me that I have to dress up for the event, so that's why I am dressed up for the event, guys. I have 3 monitors, so in case I'm looking here, this is where I have my monitor that I can see where you guys, what you guys are talking about in the comments, in the live chat section. And here I have another monitor that I am presently not using, so my camera is here, and the pages are also here. So should in case I'm looking at this direction, you guys should know that I'm just checking what you guys are talking about. So what can I share with you guys? I'm just gonna pause this because I have some news that I could at least share with you guys while we are waiting. So we have an event coming up, the GLGC 2021 event, and you guys can see the sponsors here. Bionano Genomics is one of them, one of the sponsors right here. They made a tweet, Bionano Genomics made a tweet few minutes ago, like few hours ago, sorry, and it was about the event. So I mean, we have been seeing a lot of catalyst after catalyst lately, but still the stock price has been going down. So this is the event. Bionano Genomics just made a tweet like 13 minutes ago. This is it. Bionano Genomics is excited to be at the Great Lakes Genomic Conference. That is the meaning of GLGC. If you are attending, don't miss Dr. Bogdana. He's going to talk about, of course he's going to talk about the Sapphire device. Hello Bogdan. Hello Levi. Hello everybody. Yeah, the stock market has been really something else lately. So we are getting hammered re-earning. We are getting hammered. This is what is happening right now, guys. Bngo is getting hammered. I added to my position today at 4.57 US dollars. Around this level, I added to my position 4.57 US dollars. And of course, I have some cash in reserve. I have some reserved fund that I don't mind deploying if we, I'm going to deploy it if we go further down. I am not in a hurry, just like most of you guys. This is what is happening right now, guys. We are getting seriously hammered. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Frunkla Investment. Yeah, some of us have positions open at 50 cents, 70 cents, below $1. So those positions are super green. I mean, I still have some positions that are up about 400% right now. So, but of course, I added to my position. I have position at 12 point something US dollars. That those positions are deep in red right now. Super deep. um, yeah, Bogdan. I also have some position at 7.3 US dollars. So we just have to hold and what's up, Zach? Diamond hand. You just have to hold and pray for some kind of miracle. I mean, today is the earnings, and we are going to see. Whoa, Cynthia, you are lucky. 63 cents. Today is the earnings, so hopefully Bionano Genomics is going to surprise us here. Okay, they are going to surprise us. So for those of you that are just joining us, this is my, this is where we are right now, guys. Take a look at this. This is 2020. Okay, this is my projection, and this is where we are right now. I mean, this is just the beginning. Okay, I mean, that is why Bionano Genomics stock is super volatile right now. Let me guess, Cynthia, you also bought in December, just before Christmas. That was the last time I think the stock was trading below 70 cents. I loaded up on the 24th, 22nd. When everybody was thinking about Christmas, I was busy thinking about Bionano Genomics, and I was doing my due diligence on this amazing company. 0.09. I don't think that is possible. So I think the market has closed. So that is it, guys. So let me see if I can quickly share some news with you guys, and we can proceed. So we just have like this event is going to start at 10:30 p.m. in the next 30 minutes. That is when the event is going to start, okay? But of course, I just want to gather you guys so that we can chat a little bit. It's not always about the stock market. It's good to have some friends to talk to sometimes as well. Wow, 2 Christmas ago. Wow. Cynthia, you are really a long-term believer. I mean, if you bought in July at 85 cents, and you bought again in December at 50 cents, that means you believe strongly in this company. Very nice. That's very nice. All right, so we have an event coming up from Great Lakes Genomic Conference. You guys can see Bionano Genomics is one of the sponsors, and I made a video today talking about. But before I talk, let me quickly show you guys something. So this is a post on Stock Tweet from Crazy Chester. He made a post and he said positions listed position listed is 30. The paralegal and contract administrator position is gone. Filled pretty quick. I will take that as another good sign. So I think this guy is talking about Bionano. Let me pause this for a while so that you guys can hear me clearly. So this guy is talking about Bionano Genomics opening positions, and he said Bionano Genomics has successfully filled the opened this position of paralegal and contract administrator was open, and right now it is gone. I always track this workflow as well. If you go to the link, you can see some openings, Bionano Genomics job openings. So now we have just 30 positions left. So it means we have found somebody to fill some position. Okay, so this guy, I think this guy always follow this. He follows it very closely, and I read one of his posts yesterday where he was talking about another position gone. So these are the job openings of Bionano Genomics. Hopefully they are going to keep filling these positions, and they can put the money into use, because right now I think Bionano Genomics is working on a new CLIA laboratory. You can see San Diego, California, because they are looking for clinical laboratory scientists, some open position for that CLIA laboratory. But we don't have any confirmation yet, so we just have to wait and hear what they are going to say during the earnings call. I am super, super excited. I love reading this earnings call of a thing, so that I can know where the company is, where they are coming from, where they are, and where they are headed towards. So, I am just going to go to, let's leave the chat for now. Let's just go to Bngo. I think they are going to release any moment from now, they should release the number. So I'll just keep refreshing. If you guys have any information on, on the numbers, please let me know. But I'll keep refreshing this page. So now we are up. After hour, we are up like 1.59%. I mean, the stock is just going up and down, crazy. Just going up and down after hours. So we are waiting for. Yeah, guys, please subscribe if you are new on my channel. This is what I love doing. I am crazy about Bionano Genomics. Look at that, guys. We are going up like plus 2%, then minus 0.68%. I just have to keep refreshing this. I think the earning results should come in any moment from now. Super, super exciting, guys. I want to read some things, but I can't go to those pages right now. I just have to wait and keep refreshing this page. We just have to keep refreshing the page. We have like 26 minutes to the earnings call. Super, super excited. Oh, okay, it's not in. I thought that was it. If you guys have any news, just let me know. Any surprises to $10. If they surprise, this is really good, because right now the stock market is just absolutely a big, huge mess. Okay, growth stocks are going down like crazy. I mean, today even Tesla went down to like 559 US dollars today. Absolutely insane, guys. Yeah, Steph, I also have some positions that are really, really deep in red, more than 60%. Oh, so the earning report is in, guys. It is in. The earning report is in. So, Bionano Genomics report first quarter 2021 financial results and highlights recent business progress. So, let me just go deep down to the numbers and I can share those. Okay. So, product revenue 2 million US. So the total revenue is 3.1 million US dollars. 3.1 million US dollars, guys. That is absolutely insane. I mean, closer to my prediction. I predicted 3.5 million US dollars. They brought in 3.1 million US dollars. I mean, that is not bad. Okay, that is not bad. That is a good news. And we can see the product revenue is 2 million US dollars, and the service 3 months, you guys can see here the service and other revenue. Let me increase this. Oh my god, this is insane. Can you guys see it? So the service, where is it? Okay, the service and other revenue is 1.1 million US dollars, which of course is the total, the consumables, the money they made from consumables. Okay, the Sapphire installed, you guys can see product revenue 2 million US dollars. So that is absolutely nice. Now let's go to the Oh my God, oh my God. Liability, account payable, goodwill, property, inventory, cash out. And so cash and cash equivalent is 365 million US dollars. Bionano Genomics is holding a lot of money, guys. 365 million US dollars. Absolutely crazy. I'm looking for the long-term net liability total as okay, this is asset and revenue loss from okay, so they spent about 11 loss from operations 11 million US dollars. Net loss is 9.9 million US dollars. Net loss 9.9 million US dollars. Total income, gain on debt, interest, other income expenses, loss from operation, total operating expenses 12.2 million US dollars. Now, if I compare that to my total expenses, 12 million US dollars, that is my estimate for total expenses. And Bionano Genomics met it. I mean, they beat it a tiny little bit. My estimate for total expenses was 12 million US dollars, and they reported total operating expenses of 12.2 million US dollars. Guys, that is absolutely insane. Now, I am looking for the earnings per share, but I can't total cost of revenue. All right, so let's go up. I am loving what I am seeing so far. Okay, I love what I see so far. Now let's take a look at what. So Bionano Genomics report first quarter 2021 financial results and highlights recent business progress. 179% year-over-year revenue increase driven by record sales of consumables and growth in the Sapphire installed base. Yes! All 2021 milestones on track. Strong balance sheet with 365 million US dollars cash as of March 31st, 2021, guys. That is absolutely incredible. Now it goes on, I quote, 2021 is off. I think this is from Dr. Eric. Yeah. So the CEO of Bionano Genomics, Dr. Eric Homlin, he said, I quote, 2021 is off to a solid start for Bionano. In the first quarter, we sold a record number of flow cells, analyzed the record number of samples in our service lab, drove broad adoption of Sapphire instruments, and ramped up the installation of Sapphire systems that were not yet operational because of 2020 travel restrictions. Okay. It continues, with the largest number of Sapphire systems in service analyzing more genomes than ever before, we are seeing a sharp increase in the quality and scale of studies that are being published and presented and the awareness they build. The power of optical genome mapping or OGM data was on display at our next generation cytogenomics symposium. I think he was talking about what's happening in January here, guys. So, and through our strong presence at various key conferences in the US, Europe, and China, we continued to drive the awareness we believe is needed to develop the market for structural variation analysis and OGM. In first quarter of 2021, we saw a clear expansion into new geographical areas and into new applications such as prenatal analysis. Wow, I love that. I made a video about prenatal analysis. You guys should go and check it out on my page. Cancer research and drug development. Our customers continued development of Sapphire-based assays for structural variation analysis in our key growth areas of prenatal and postnatal genetics, hematological malignancies, and solid tumors in Europe, the US, Canada, and new markets across the world. As our customers grow the number of laboratory developed tests in the market, we expect this will build out the path to reimbursement of Sapphire-based LDTs by third-party payers in the US and around the world. End quote. I love reading from Dr. Eric Homlin, guys. So Christopher Stewart, the Chief Operating Officer of Bionano Genomics, added, I quote, in the quarter, we solidified our foundation for growth through two successful financings, contributing to a cash position of 365 million US dollars as of the end of the quarter. We anticipate that the strength of our balance sheet will enable us to clear barriers to global adoption of OGM with Sapphire, support applications development to open up additional end user markets, and drive toward the next wave of big biology and innovation in genomics. Absolutely, guys. I mean, this is mind blowing. Now, Now they spoke about the expansion. Take a look at this. Hosted the next generation cytogenomics symposium one, where they talk about the C19 and so on and so forth. Expanded into new geographical markets, including South Africa, Greece, Russia, South Korea, and important clinical sites in the United Kingdom and Germany. Now, thirdly, King's College Hospital in London and the NHS Regional Genetics Laboratory in Belfast City Hospital adopted Sapphire systems. Gained Sapphire adoption by the University Health Network in Toronto, by which the largest hospital diagnostic lab in Canada. Then Dr. Jim Brosh at Pennsylvania State University published a method for solid tumor analysis by OGM, unlocking the largest oncology market for Sapphire. Dr. Yuval A. Bernstein at Tel Aviv University published a method to analyze DNA methylation in cancer genomes, enabling a new field of cancer research and drug target discovery. Praxis Genomics obtained the DEX-Z code for it goes on and on and on. They are talking about the sources of what they have been now strengthened the balance sheet by raising approximately 337 million US dollars from two underwritten public offerings of shares of its common stock. The utilization of its 40 million US dollars ATM facility at the market facility, and the exercise of outstanding warrants, enabling the company to advance the business without near-term capital constraints. That is absolutely mind-blowing, guys. I mean, I need to check the stock right now. Woo! So we are up a little bit after hour. Okay, I mean compared to where we were a few days ago, 4.93 US dollars. I mean, it's something. Okay, 11% after hours. That is good. That is really good. The fact that the stock goes up after they release this earning, is very, very good in my opinion, compared to what has been happening with this market lately. This market has been completely crazy lately, guys. So if we are up 10.66% after hours, right now the stock is at 4.9 US dollars. This is good. Okay, if the stock market craziness is over, finally Bionano Genomics in the remaining of the second quarter of 2021 can at least go back up where it was coming from. So this is a very good news, guys. I don't know how else I have to share this with you. In the next 16 minutes, we are going to have the earnings call from Dr. Eric Omlin, the CEO of Bionano Genomics, and from the Chief Financial Officer, Christopher Stewart. They are going to tell us more about what they are up to in the rest of the quarter, and of course, forward-looking statements to the end of the year. They have to tell us what is going on. Okay, they are going to tell us more about these earnings, and what they have been able to do, and so on and so forth. And of course, we are going to have some analysts that will be asking them some questions. We need those analysts to ask them some questions so that they can represent us somehow. All these questions that most of us have that Bionano Genomics have not been able to answer, those analysts are going to be asking them today, and they will, let us know how many devices they have managed to install, and so on and so forth, and how many devices they have, for example, in inventory, and what is going on. And of course, we still have to find out about the nano nozzle of a thing, all these patents that they have been filing lately. We need to know what they have been doing. Okay, so we have like 15 minutes till the earning call, and this is the financial highlights, guys. Total revenue. Oh, I can hear a sound. I can hear what's going on. I think, where is my page for the earnings? Okay, so it's about to start. 21. Cynthia wants to quit her job this year. What's up, Ahmed? Ahmed. Why do you want me to be realistic for price targets? I post video on Bngo every day. I am just like you guys, okay? I am also a retail investor. I am not an institutional investor. I post. Take a look at this. I make video every day on Bngo. As you guys can see, I've been posting video about Bionano Genomics since January. You can see here when I started. Right here, Whoa. I've been making videos on Bngo just like you guys so that I can at least learn more about the company, because this genomic of a thing is completely new. It was completely new to me in December when I first invested in Bngo. You guys can see how I transitioned 4 months ago. That's why, Hamed, I have been making video on Bngo so that I can also learn more about this company, about genomic stocks, what is going on with genomes and so on and so forth. And the only thing I'm doing on this channel is just to share my experience with you guys. Anytime I discover something, I just make a video about it and share it with you guys. So if you tell me to, be realistic about stock price, or if I am pumping the stock, I mean, that is just it's absolutely rude. That is rude, in my opinion. Okay, we are all in this together.
Good day and welcome to the Bionano Genomics First Quarter 2021 Earnings Conference Call. Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Amy Conrad from Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Latif, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Bionano Genomics First Quarter 2021 Financial Results Conference Call. Leading the call today is Dr. Erik Holmlin, CEO of Bionano. He is joined by Chris Stewart, CFO of Bionano, and Dr. Alka Chaubey, CMO of Bionano. After market close today, Bionano issued a press release announcing its financial results for the first quarter of 2021. A copy of the release can be found on the Investor Relations page of the company's website. Before I jump into the forward-looking statements, we want to remind you that our annual meeting is coming up on June 10th, and if you haven't already done so, please vote your shares as soon as you can. I would like to remind everyone that certain statements made during this conference call may be forward-looking, including statements about our strategic and commercialization plans, sales pipeline, anticipated benefits or improvements to the Saphyr system, and the advantages of the Saphyr system over current technologies, our expectations regarding timing and content of study results, and anticipated benefits of these studies in driving adoption of the software system. Such forward-looking statements are based upon current expectations, and there can be no assurances that the results contemplated in these statements will be realized. Actual results may differ materially from such statements due to a number of factors and risks, some of which are identified in our press release and our reports filed with the SEC. These forward-looking statements are based on information available to Bionano today, and the company assumes no obligation to update statements as circumstances change. An audio recording and webcast replay for today's conference call will also be available online in the Investors section of the company's website. With that, I will turn the call over to Erik.
Thank you, Amy, and good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by saying that 2021 is off to a solid start for Bionano, and we're thrilled with our progress during this first quarter. We ended 2020 with a strong fourth quarter, and that momentum has really continued into this first quarter of 2021, where we had record numbers of flow cells sold, services, samples analyzed, and Saphyr systems installed. There are now more Saphyr systems in service than ever before. And that's really important because it means our customers are able to analyze more and more genomes. And with the improvements in throughput and cost of operation that we've introduced, they're running larger and larger studies, which in turn means there'll be more data in the field. And those data really tell the story of the value of optical genome mapping. And what we're seeing is that the quality and number of presentations and publications featuring this optical genome mapping data is continuing to increase. And I can't really think of a better illustration of that progress than our next generation Cytogenomics Symposium that some of you may have followed. It was originated and organized by Dr. Alka Chaubey, our CMO, and it featured 32 customers presenting breakthroughs that were enabled by optical genome mapping across basic research, clinical research, including applications in COVID, during a total of 33 presentations over the course of 5 days in January of this year. And that message of scientific success has resonated beyond our expectations and really elevated the profile of the company throughout the market. And we expect this momentum to continue, and we believe that it will be connected to our ongoing commercial success over the course of this year, but into the future. Looking at the numbers for the first quarter, our commercial indicators grew year over year. Since the start of 2020, our focus has been on pursuing a go-to-market model that is intended to remove barriers that have historically made it difficult for customers to get Bionano data. We now offer them sample analysis services, a reagent rental option where they can commit to a certain volume of consumables, and we will provide them with a Saphyr system that they rent. And we have attractive options for capital acquisition, allowing customers to buy a Saphyr system. And we believe that this commercial strategy is working, and that its success is reflected in our performance during this first quarter. We shipped 11 Saphyr systems into the market, and when you compare that to the 5 systems that we shipped in the same quarter in 2020, you can see that the business is definitely improving. We completed a number of installations over the course of the quarter, bringing the total number of Saphyr systems installed in the field to 107. We sold 2,603 nano-channel array flow cells. Now remember, a flow cell is the measure of the number of human genome analysis capacity that's acquired in consumables on a quarterly basis. And this is the highest number that we've sold in a quarter ever. It represents 275% growth over the number of flow cells that we sold in the first quarter of 2020. And we also grew by 5% the number sold over the fourth quarter of 2020. So more flow cells that are purchased correlates with more samples analyzed, more Bionano data in the field, which helps to propel us forward. This is an incredible result. We also analyzed 227 samples in our Saphyr Services Lab, which is a record number for us in any first quarter ever. We believe the availability of commercial services is an effective way to put Bionano data in the hands of customers so that they can evaluate optical genome mapping, and that this approach will result in more publications, which are critical to driving the Bionano story forward and more Saphyr adoption. We also expanded into new geographic markets, including South Africa, Greece, Russia, South Korea, and important clinical research sites in the United Kingdom and Germany. I want to highlight that King's College Hospital in London, which is part of the National Health System Regional Genetics Laboratory in Belfast City Hospital, have recently adopted Saphyr systems. Now, the NHS is the National Health Service in the United Kingdom, and adoption of Saphyr by these two important sites sets us up for growth in the UK as researchers seek to develop alternatives to their traditional cytogenetic methods there. We also expanded our installed base in Canada, where Saphyr was adopted by the University Health Network in Toronto. This network has the largest hospital lab in all of Canada, and they're going to use the Saphyr system to research better methods for genome analysis across a variety of indications. Finally, we saw a good volume of samples coming into our Lineagen business for analysis on that suite of laboratory-developed tests, which focus on pediatric neurodevelopmental disorders. And revenues for these diagnostic services contribute to the revenues that are listed on the services line on our P&L. Now, regarding product development, we continue to make Saphyr faster, easier, and more cost-effective to operate. This quarter, we increased the speed of our cloud computing solution by 30% and reduced the cost of it to the end user by 50%. New applications for optical genome mapping that we released this quarter include prenatal genome analysis on amniocytes, as well as solutions for genome analysis in connection with infertility research. Dr. Jim Broach at Penn State University, who is somebody who we've worked with for a number of years, published a method for solid tumor analysis by optical genome mapping, and Dr. Yuval Ebenstein at Tel Aviv University published a method to analyze DNA methylation in cancer genomes. It's these types of publications and advances in methods that will allow us to expand into additional substantial markets. We also had an important patent issued that showed how different probes can be used to detect even more variants and possibly even single nucleotide variants. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what we see as the critical milestones to achieving adoption of optical genome mapping as an alternative to existing cytogenetic methods. And these milestones include publication of large studies comparing optical genome mapping to the traditional methods that are used today, highlighting concordance with those methods, and highlighting incremental improvement in finding the relevant variants that help better understand genetic conditions. Another milestone includes the development of assays on Saphyr by these labs that are adopting the system, and then finally, acceptance of OGM assays by third-party payers. With regard to progress on the concordance data, MD Anderson Cancer Center published a study showing how Saphyr significantly reduced the time to results for solid tumor analysis, for tumor analysis of subjects with myelodysplastic syndrome from several weeks to just 4 days, while being 100% concordant with the traditional methods and finding biologically relevant variants that the traditional methods did not find. This was a very significant enhancement. The Next Generation Cytogenomics Symposium featured a presentation from multiple speakers, each showing similar performance of Saphyr for genetic disease, a variety of blood and solid cancer types. One highlight was a presentation by Dr. Gordana Rocca from Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, who showed that Saphyr detects known druggable gene fusions in pediatric acute leukemias that panels typically used on next-generation sequencing or cytogenetic methods for these subjects miss. Also, in the first quarter, we had an increased scientific presence at major conferences at the 2021 annual clinical genetics meeting of ACMG, one of the most important medical genetics meetings in the world. Bionano customers presented a record number of studies across each of our target growth markets. This base of public optical genome mapping data resonates with our potential customers and noticeably drives commercial interest and future adoption in the platform. And that's why we made a point of announcing how significant our presence at ACMG was this year. Development and validation of assays by end users who adopt the research use only platform is also important. And we see progress in this area in the US and Europe as well. In the US, Augusta University has developed an assay for whole genome analysis with optical genome mapping for constitutional genetic disorders, and they are developing assays for prenatal analysis and solid tumor analysis as well. In Europe, we expect the accreditation of optical genome mapping-based assays for acute leukemia and FSHD in certain European markets in this second quarter. And lastly, I want to talk a little bit about this challenge around third-party reimbursement, which is most acute in the U.S. Here we acquired Lineagen to help us overcome this barrier. With their CLIA license and vast clinical expertise, combined with the leadership of Alka Chaubey, we believe we can develop optical genome mapping assays on Saphyr, validate LDTs that may improve upon the standard of care. We are leveraging the Lineagen existing portfolio of third-party payer contracts and certified coders to work out this path for reimbursement. Alka has built an incredible effort to generate the most comprehensive data set needed for optical genome mapping to speed up this process of acceptance by the reimbursement community. Alka is here today, and I'd like to ask her to tell you about this program. So with that, I will turn it over to Alka.
Thank you, Eric. I am extremely happy to have this chance to connect with all of you today and tell you about our efforts to make optical genome mapping with Saphyr an essential method for genome analysis. So in addition to supporting the key success factors Eric mentioned for market acceptance, we have created one of the most ambitious programs in clinical research to compare optical genome mapping side by side against traditional methods that are actually recommended in medical guidelines. Our studies will span our 4 major growth markets, which include prenatal and postnatal genetic analysis, hematological malignancies, and solid tumor analysis. For each of these indications, there will be at least 3 sites that will develop assays and evaluate a total of 1,000 patients. We expect that over the course of these studies, each site will validate their assays themselves and also use the data they produce to support the further adoption of optical genome mapping at their institutions. Operationally, institutional review board approval has been obtained for all of the sites in our postnatal genome analysis study, and site recruitment and training is complete. Sample enrollment is ongoing, and 3 sites have begun to generate the data. For the prenatal and heme studies, site recruitment and IRB approvals have begun, and we expect sites to be generating data in Q3 for our prenatal studies and Q4 for our heme studies. The reason we are investing so heavily in these studies to generate the data set is that we believe it can be the basis to make recommendations and changes in the guidelines established by medical societies that actually recommend the usage of technologies for genome analysis for various genetic diseases or indications. Although a program of this scale is often later in the development process, but because of the capital we have available, we can pursue it now and accelerate the path to medical society consideration of optical genome mapping. Back to Eric.
Thank you, Alka. Much of the progress we are making is possible because of the outstanding team we are building and the strength of our balance sheet, which together enable us to invest in and advance all areas of the business without the capital constraints we once faced. With our elevated profile of bringing the next disruptive technology to healthcare, we will have the opportunity to continue adding transformational talent to the team to further accelerate our progress. And I'm inviting you to stay tuned for more progress in this area of human capital. And so I will now turn over the call to another outstanding leader at Bionano, Chris Stewart, for an overview of our financials. Chris?
Thanks, Eric, and hello, everybody. Revenue in Q1 was approximately $3.2 million, up 179% from the $1.1 million we reported in the same period of 2020. Year-on-year, revenue was up in all geographies and across both product and service revenue. The increase in global product sales was driven by increased demand for our reagent rental program and consumables, while the increase in service revenue was primarily driven by sales from our Lineagen subsidiary. Our gross margins came in at 33%, up 8% from the same period last year, due mainly to this mix in our product, a shift in our product mix towards higher margin consumables and services. First quarter operating expenses was $12.2 million, an increase of $2.2 million over the same period in 2020. This increase was primarily due to increased headcount related and material and supply expense. Finally, as of March 31st, 2021, our cash balance was $362 million, derived from the raise of $337 million in 2 underwritten public offerings, sales on our ATM facility, and the exercise of outstanding warrants for common stock driven by the increase in our share price. As has been discussed, our objectives for 2021 center on clearing additional barriers to widespread adoption through the execution of our clinical studies, continuing to expand on the number of published studies showcasing the power of Saphyr, and making progress on our next generation high-throughput Saphyr instrument. We will also continue to build both our sales and marketing and our R&D teams prudently through the year. This is a very exciting time for Bionano. We are well capitalized and sharply focused on execution. We look forward on updating you on our progress through the year. And again, as Amy mentioned up front, we want to remind you again that our annual meeting is coming up on June 10th, and we ask you to please vote your shares as soon as possible. With that, I will turn the call back to Eric to discuss upcoming milestones for the year. Then we'll open it up for Q&A. Eric?
Thanks, Chris. Outstanding update. In summary, the first quarter of 2021 continued the momentum we saw in the second half of 2020. We're progressing nicely against our main goals of working toward global adoption of Saphyr through increased sales, increased publication of Saphyr data, initiation of more clinical studies, and broadening the scope of the technology. Here you can see more anticipated milestones for the remainder of 2021. In the next year and several years, we believe that optical genome mapping has the potential to become the standard of care. Right now, Saphyr is a research use only tool, and we're doing the right studies to demonstrate its utility. With all our programs, we're hopeful that optical genome mapping could be considered a standard technology in prenatal and postnatal analysis, heme malignancies, as well as solid tumors. We're making great progress along these goals and are hoping to grow the installed base to a level of about 150 Saphyr systems, which represents this by the end of this year, which represents a key milestone around adoption. And with that, we are ready to take questions. So, operator.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you will need to press *1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press the # key. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. Our first question comes from the line of Kevin DeGeeter of Oppenheimer. Your line is open.
Hey, great. I want to thanks for the update. Very positive all around. First of all, a few housekeeping. Can you just give us a breakdown of reagent rental versus capital purchase on the 11 placements in the quarter? Just in general, what you're seeing in the appetite, potential new placements in terms of reagent rental versus capital purchase.
Yeah, so Kevin, we're not breaking that out. What I would say is that the majority of the systems that went out were in the reagent rental program. The reason we're not breaking it out is that it's still sort of finding its level, and so I don't want that to set any particular precedent. The other piece of information that I think would probably be helpful to you is that if you look at the revenues attributed to instruments, what we can say is that those sales were all right around the list price for the system. So I think with that information, you would probably be able to get pretty close to what those numbers are.
Great. Thanks for that. And listen, appreciate the detailed update on the reimbursement strategy. Makes a lot of sense. So can you provide us a little bit more granularity in terms of, you mentioned, the 3 sites, I believe, in postnatal have been, identified, kind of which sites, and as we think about, I think you called out, 1,000 patients as, kind of target data set size. Is that, per site or kind of collectively, across over the 3 vertical?
Well, that represents, so there are fundamentally 5 studies organized in 4 pillars, and those 4 pillars are prenatal, postnatal, hematologic malignancies, and solid tumors. The hematologic malignancies has a leukemia arm to it and a lymphoma arm, so that's your 5. And our plan is to have 1,000 patients in each of those 5 areas, spread across the multiple sites that are participating, as Alka said, at least 3 per site, per pillar.
No, great. And then just kind of lastly following up on that, you kind of called out, the timeline to potentially begin generating data, I think, in pre and postnatal. Any early thoughts as to kind of how long that total data collection time may take, and kind of to be able to reach that 1,000 patient threshold, and at least kind of the first of those 5 verticals?
What we think is that we should be able to get a substantial fraction of the postnatal samples, data from them collected and analyzed, and so I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 50% of those done by the end of the year. And we expect that we'll be able to generate presentations, or that the sites will be able to generate presentations and publications to give some interim readouts based on those numbers of patients. One of the reasons that we've set this goal to get these numbers as high as we have is that we believe that that's what it's going to take to influence these guidelines. And to be perfectly frank with you, we were only dreaming of having the opportunity to do that, right? In some period of time, because it's a lot of patients, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of sites, it's a lot of Sapphire systems, the capital that we raised in the first quarter of this year has made that possible, and so has really accelerated these timelines. But there's going to be a substantial amount of data collected in postnatal this year, and we're going to get a glimpse of those results.
Last clarification on that, then I'll get back in the queue. Will the samples analyzed in Sapphire, in those various clinical trials, run through the P&L line as recognized revenue, or will those be development expenses with no revenue associated with samples and consumables associated with stuff?
It's a mix. I mean, it kind of depends on the relationship that we have with the site. There are some sites where there are sponsored research activities. There are other sites that are existing users, and they are purchasing reagents. So you're going to see some of the expenses hitting the R&D line, and in other areas there are going to be revenue generating studies.
Thanks. Take my questions.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Jeffrey Cohen of Ladenburg Thalmann. The line is open.
Hi, this is actually Destiny on for Jeff. Thank you for taking my question. Just quickly, I'm curious to know if there are any accounts that do the rental program that actually end up purchasing the Sapphire outright.
Yeah, we're starting to see that. So, the reagent rental program is just over a year old, and we have seen at least one customer convert to a sale, and we expect that some percentage of the reagent rental customers will convert to sales over time, which is another reason why we decided not to split out sales versus reagent rentals, because they end up crossing over at times.
Right, okay, thank you for that. And then just on gross margins, how should we be thinking about them throughout 2021, especially due to higher levels of utilization and the expanded installed base?
We expect them to marginally improve through the year as we grow revenue, but not materially, right? We will materially grow revenue. We'll materially grow our gross margins, beyond this year as we really ramp up consumables as a percentage of our total revenue. Right now, we have a pretty decent mix with instrument sales, which are lower margin, with consumables, which are higher margin, and that mix isn't going to change too dramatically this year.
Okay, so perhaps that leads me to my next question. Are you able to just at a high level discuss the breakdown geographically of the current installed base?
Yeah, so what I would say is that's distributed about 50% U.S., 50% ex-U.S., and Europe is probably got a little bit more than half of the ex-U.S. portion, and Europe has really been a significant contributor to the business lately. And so we would expect them to continue outpacing some of the other geographies. And I think that that's a pretty industry norm distribution.
Yes, I would agree. And then you've had some adoption by very large medical centers, especially OUS. So I'm just curious if you could discuss or remind us about the international opportunity and how this adoption could help drive that going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look across the progress that we're making in the business, it's really global, and this is an advanced method for research applications, and of course, as you know, labs are advancing the capabilities and implementing it in a variety of ways. Because of that, the adoption tends to be centered in countries that are able to invest in newer technologies, so more developed areas, but the incredible awareness of optical genome mapping is on the map everywhere around the globe, and we're hearing about it everywhere. And so from everywhere, we're receiving inquiries about it from everywhere. And so what our view is that we will continue to see growth and adoption in the traditional developed markets, such as the United States, North America, China, more broadly in the Asia-Pacific region, where we already have a good installed base, Western Europe, a little bit into Eastern Europe. But there are areas such as India that we have systems installed, and let me be very clear, India is reaching out. And so we fully expect this to be a global platform, and that our opportunity is worldwide.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I think I'll take the rest of my questions offline. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Jason McCarthy of Maxim Group. Your line's open.
Hey guys, this is Michael Chinowich on the line for Jason. Thank you for taking the question. So you guys really have done a great job building a really strong balance sheet here. You have $360 million in the bank, and that's essentially several years of runway. It gives you a lot of breathing room. What I want to know is, how are you guys planning to invest that money to drive further adoption of Saphyr? You mentioned those 5 studies that you've been able to accelerate. Should we expect some additional studies to initiate? And could you describe what other ways you're using your balance sheet to drive the story forward?
Yeah, so you hit on one of the main things, right, is driving these clinical studies in 2021. We will also continue to build out our sales and marketing team and our customer service team, and we're also investing in our next-gen product. Beyond those, that's the focus for 2021. Beyond that, we will continue to develop assays and assays for more indications and more sample types and things like that to just continue to expand the market for Saphyr. We potentially would look at strategic opportunities if those strategic opportunities can accelerate the path for Saphyr adoption, but nothing on the near-term horizon.
Thank you. And I'd actually like to ask you about kind of the target profile for the next generation Saphyr, and really how we should think of this. Is this more so a premium, higher throughput version of Saphyr, or is it a successor and really the next step in the Saphyr story?
Yes, it's more like the former, although Saphyr is premium, and its next generation counterpart will be just as premium, but it will be much higher throughput. And so what we anticipate is that the current Saphyr system would be a really terrific solution for low to mid-volume labs and higher volume labs, which are currently adopting Saphyr, for a portion of their menu, will need something with substantially higher throughput. And so that's what that next generation system is intended to serve. And we've talked about that our goal, historically what we've done is to, through the end of last year with the release of capabilities to bring Saphyr throughput to 96 samples per week or 5,000 samples per year, that represented a 14-fold increase over where Saphyr throughput was at launch in early 2017. And what we have said is that the next generation, through a couple of steps, will bring another 14-fold increase. And so, and that would be completed by the end of 2023. And so it really is the same kind of amazing capabilities, obviously with certain updates and revisions that will also be backward, many of which will be backward compatible to the current Saphyr system, but the focus will be on throughput and consumables that will really allow us to offer consumable pricing that is approaching $100 per sample. So as you can imagine, for high volume labs, high volume studies, this is a really incredible capability.
I'd like to touch on the product mix a bit and the improved gross margins. How much of that is due to the reagent rental model and the Lineagen revenues as compared to higher utilization from existing Saphyr systems and the improvements throughout the years that you just mentioned to the throughput of the system?
Yeah, it really has a lot to do with the product mix. We are, as you know, with a business like ours, the consumable business will continue to grow and outpace revenue from the systems. In Q1 of last year and throughout much of last year, we were selling systems, and the consumable portion of our revenue was growing steadily, and that change in mix and the growth we had year over year in the consumables, along with the higher margins from the Lineagen business, is really what drove it.
All right, thank you. And just one more, if you don't mind. I'd like to ask, as you guys get more customers coming on board, who have lab-developed tests and are actually using Saphyr for diagnostics, how does the utilization break down between the customers who have, validated LDT and those who don't yet are using it just on the research side?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part?
I wanted to know how the utilization of Saphyr kind of breaks down between customers who have a validated LDT and are using it in diagnostics versus those who are using it more so just for research.
Well, listen, so a couple of ways to think about that. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that the Saphyr system is research use only, and customers adopt it and use it for a variety of applications. And when they're developing an LDT, we would consider that to be within the clinical research portfolio, translational research. The LDT that they may have could be for a variety of applications. And the research use spans a pretty wide range, so going all the way from basic research, even non-human research, up into this translational research that includes the LDTs. And what we see in current adoption is that it is almost entirely, probably like a conservative figure would be maybe 75 to 80% translational research, human-focused, and a smaller fraction, 20 to 25% basic. And those translational applications are much higher volume of utilization. Also, when a site commits to a reagent rental program, the minimum annual commitment is 240 genomes. And so that's a pretty substantial utilization rate right there.
All right. Thank you very much for taking my questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a follow-up question from Kevin DeGeeter of Oppenheimer. Your line is open.
Hey guys, just two more quick ones from me. In terms of new placements, can you talk a little bit about the typical competitive dynamic? As a typical site, trying to decide between optical mapping and long read sequencing in terms of their functionality. Do you really, to some degree, competing against yourself in terms of whether the functionality offered by Saphyr will capture value for a given site? Are you competing with kind of legacy technologies? Just kind of what are you thinking? I'm thinking more for translational and clinical oriented sites more than perhaps the traditional research, basic research oriented customer base.
Yeah. So when you're talking about those clinical translational oriented sites, that is a site which is really looking at the Saphyr system or optical genome mapping as an alternative to traditional methods in cytogenomics, cytogenetic analysis, karyotyping, FISH, and microarrays. So that's where the discussion usually lies, and that's why these comparative analyses that we have ongoing or that sites are conducting and publishing make a difference. And there is certainly a overlapping segment that is looking at a comparison against the traditional methods, but also looking at a comparison against sequencing methods, whether that be long-read sequencing or short-read sequencing or both. As you start to get more and more towards basic research or discovery research, there the idea of including optical genome mapping is really an incremental approach. And so that is a different conversation, it's a different value proposition, it's a different comparative landscape. And so the types of publications that are so important there are ones that are highlighted like in our slides that show the use of optical genome mapping in all of these different indications relative to sequencing for its ability to find information that otherwise would not be detected. So really two different paths of generating a dossier of support for the value proposition. And we are pursuing both of those as our customers in the installed base, and they're starting to publish on a much more regular basis.
No, thank you for that. And then just lastly for me, I appreciate that the primary guidance metric the company provides today is placements, which you reiterated at more than 150 by the end of the year. We do get questions from investors interested in revenue guidance and sort of what you would need to sort of see, or what kind of scale in your business you would need to be able to obtain to feel comfortable providing at least a broad range on revenue guidance. So kind of any thoughts you have on opportunities to further expand the types of guidance metrics you provide to the street would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We're sort of appreciative of that dynamic, and I want to make a couple of comments. First of all, we're conservative about providing guidance because it's on a relative scale basis. The revenues are certainly impressive, and we're very happy with where we came out this quarter, last quarter, and what we're seeing on a go-forward basis, and we think it's really reflective of the progress that we're making. Having said that, they're at a scale where even a deal that gets moved from one quarter to the next could change the achievement of a particular threshold, for example. And so we don't think that that's the right measure of the success of our strategy, which is why we emphasize the growth in the installed base, and other things like the number of flow cells that are going out and so forth. So that's one reason, which I understand that you're aware of. But let's not forget about the other reason, which is probably the bigger driver, and that is that while we're together here in a conference room for an earnings call for the very first time since quarantine began, and we're seeing lessening of restrictions around the world, allowing us to install systems and so forth, there remains a tremendous amount of uncertainty of what the future holds there. And so that's another reason why we're conservative about providing guidance. And so as that continues to clear up and the business progresses, I think we will be in more of a position to do that, and I would look for that probably next year sometime. In the interim, what we like your investors do is we pay attention to the analyst reports that are out there, and while some of them are higher, and some of them are lower than what we expect, we see that the general consensus is kind of representative of our trajectory, which we have said on the last call would be meaningful double-digit growth in 2021 over 2020, but with substantial growth in the installed base of this 150 or more systems and other areas of progress.
Thanks so much for that, Eric.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the call over to Eric for closing remarks.
Well, I just want to say that I thank the whole team and everybody at Bionano for everything that they've done to put together this quarter. I want to thank everybody who has joined the call today and followed along with us, and we will be back together with you in 1 quarter's time. So thank you very much for joining.
That was a wrap.
This concludes today's conference call. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.
That was a wrap, everybody. Whoa, that was a wrap, guys. I mean, Bionano Genomics is hot. They blew it. You guys can you heard Dr. Eric Holmlin and Chief Financial Officer Christopher Stewart. You heard what they said about the forward guidance. They expect to install about 150 Sapphire devices, for until the end of the year for 2021. And Dr. Eric said perhaps more. So I believe that is all for today, guys. I mean, thank you guys for checking in. Thank you. If you are not yet subscribed, please join the channel, click on subscribe. I talk about Bionano Genomics talk every day from Sunday to Sunday on this channel. Thank you, thank you, James and Eric Cross. Thanks, guys, for supporting the channel. It is going to help me to keep up the work and keep bringing you guys amazing content every day on this channel. I want to thank on those of you that are not able to donate. Thanks for coming and listening to the earnings call on my channel. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I can't do this without you guys. So have a wonderful day, guys. I am going to record a video right now to share my opinion on what's just happened so that I can wrap it up a little bit. And of course, tomorrow pre-market, I am going to be here to talk about the pre-market, to share more information with you guys. So have a wonderful evening, guys. I remain your boy Dayo. This is Frunkla